Welcome back, everybody, to Model Mindset. We are extremely fortunate to have Rachel Strabley on the podcast today, which I'm excited about because we're going to learn a lot about your field, but also our audience is going to learn a lot. And so Rachel is a certified consulting hypnotist. So let's jump right in, Rachel, with the first question can you explain your approach to hypnotherapy and what a hypnosis strategy session entails?
Sure. Thanks for having me, guys. So my approach to hypnosis with my clients is it's always customized. Every client is unique, even if they have the same problem. We were just talking about flying off air, and people who are afraid of flying, they can come to me for hypnosis, but their reasons are different. Their backstory is different. So I approach it with, it's just different for everybody. Everything's customized for them. And also I do 3, 6, or 9 sessions, depending on the challenge that the client faces. And the approach could change between each session. So if something takes place in the first session, I'm very intuitive, so I can change it up really quickly to meet the client's needs. Or I'll have something planned for the second session, and then we'll have a conversation in between, and I'll need to change a few things. And there are different types of hypnosis as well. So there's the traditional one where I'm assuming you think you just kind of go into a relaxed trance, and then I just say a lot of words to you, and then you believe them, and you walk away and you feel great, right? That's what everybody expects. But there's also conversational hypnosis where while you're in your trance, I'll be asking you questions and also guiding you through healing whatever your past is or whatever your challenge is during a conversation. And there's also now I'm blanking, but there are just, I do an emotional detox, which allows you to get rid of guilt, shame, fear, pain, anger, pressure, and frustration without reliving all of your, challenges throughout your life. So
that's very, very interesting. So how much do you need to know about the person beforehand before they come in for their first session? Like how much detail and how much work do you have to do on the front end before they come in to maybe have a successful session?
Right. So we start off with a phone consultation where I learn what it is they want hypnosis for. I also learn whether or not they're ready. So for hypnosis to work, the person has to be, 100% ready for the change. If they're coming to me saying, my wife wants me to quit smoking, or my husband wants me to stop drinking, and I say, okay, what about you? It would be nice. Okay, come back when you're ready, because it won't work. So we have a phone consultation. Is hypnosis right for you? Are you ready for it? Am I the right hypnotist for you? Can I help you with your issue? Mm-hmm. If not, I can recommend other hypnotists that I know very well. And then after that phone consultation, they decide whether or not they want to work with me. And if they do, then I send them a questionnaire, which goes into even more depth about why do they want to make this change? What do they feel created this problem or challenge in the first place? Just things of that nature. And also, is there anything else in their life that's happening that they feel we could encompass into this healing, our sessions, healing sessions. So that's why it's customized, because everybody has different answers for these questions. And then I'm prepared for the first session.
Gotcha. And like you said, you can be a little more fluid after that. If something changes in that first one, you're able to adjust for the future sessions. Okay.
Exactly. And then we have conversations in between the sessions, and they can email or text me. This happened, that happened, this was positive, but then this popped up. And then I just kind of roll with it. really.
That's
It
awesome.
suits my personality. It's a lot of fun. Nothing is ever the same. So
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
So what brought you to this career path, right? Because it's such a unique career path. And I know, Brian, we talked about it offline too. Like, we know nothing about it and never come across anybody who's in the field. So what brought you to the field? How long have you been doing it for? And like, what brought you to the field?
Okay, so I've been doing it for 5 years now, and the reason I got into it is because I used hypnosis myself for
awesome.
for depression, and it worked super fast. And I was like, this is amazing. I have struggled with seasonal affective disorder for most of my life, from my early teens all the way through. And this one particular winter was a really bad season for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just not functioning. And so I used hypnosis. And within 3 weeks, up and out and loving life. And I was thinking, this is amazing. I need to train and bring this to more people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you were going through hypnosis yourself, what did they discover, like besides the seasons, that was like causing you to feel in that depression state?
Well, here's the thing. I didn't know that hypnosis was locally available to me.
I don't either. I didn't know either.
Yeah, I would never have known.
Yeah.
Yes. So I did not know that, but I did find it on YouTube.
Okay.
And the thing with, I was listening to it, it was in my eardrums day and night.
Okay.
So all day and all night, I was listening to different recordings of hypnosis for confidence, for depression, to, you know, get off the couch. I would just go onto YouTube and be like, hypnosis for this, hypnosis for that. And I would just listen to it all day long. And I listened to it all day long and all night long for 3 weeks, for about 3 weeks.
That's incredible.
And so, but however, I think that as a hypnotist myself now, knowing that had I known it was available to me, you know, in person or even via Zoom, it works. I would have sought somebody out sooner.
Yeah.
And got to the root cause of where my depression came from. But as it turned out, it worked. It just took listening to it day and night for it to work.
Yeah.
And I love that too, because I don't think, again, I don't want to speak for John or anybody, to be honest with you. I'll speak from my own personal experience.
Don't speak for me.
I didn't, like, personally, I didn't know about about hypnosis and, you know, reading your background about what you specialize in. I think that's a good kind of segue. And I thought that was incredibly fascinating. And so can you kind of go into the particular areas of hypnotherapy which you specialize in, and kind of give us maybe some examples of how you maybe help someone with an area or that you specialize in?
Sure. Just one thing I want to clear up, since we are in Connecticut, and your listeners might be outside of Connecticut, but in Connecticut, you're not allowed to call yourself a hypnotherapist offering hypnotherapy unless you are a psychologist, psychiatrist, or have that background. In New York, Pennsylvania, California, you can call yourself a hypnotherapist without that. So I just wanted to clear that up so I don't get into trouble.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't let us get you in trouble now. Come
Exactly.
on.
So now I've forgotten what the question was.
So if you could walk,
specialize in,
Specialize in. Well, so my specialty kind of just fell into my lap. So, 5 years ago, I'm starting my own business and I'm a big believer in the law of attraction, and I'm attracting female entrepreneurs. And so I'm working with female entrepreneurs to increase their confidence, their focus, their productivity, create a work-life balance, and then at the end of that, increasing their profits. So that to me was like super fun to watch these entrepreneurs grow right in front of my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my clients increased their income by 350%.
Wow.
In less than a year with working with me. She didn't work with me for a year, but during that year, she increased her income. So
wow,
super fun to watch. So I do enjoy working with entrepreneurs, female, male. I don't discriminate. So, but my biggest goosebump moment is a lady came to me. She had was living with bulimia for 25 years.
Wow.
And after 6 sessions, it just stopped.
Wow.
And I still get goosebumps thinking about that, even though it was 2 years ago.
yeah,
And she'd never been on a girls' holiday. So she was doing all these fun things afterwards, and it just, really, really makes me smile thinking about her and getting over 25-year illness.
Now, through your hypnosis with that example,
Mhm.
is it where you're basically discovering the roadblock for like that issue and then almost, I don't want to say resetting the mindset, but is that essentially like what you're doing?
Yeah, so there's the different ways of doing things. So I obviously do the emotional detox. That's a huge one in
And what goes into that?
the emotional detox. So you're in your trance, and I'm guiding your subconscious mind to let go of the guilt, shame, fear, pain, anger, pressure, and frustration that you've been holding on to since the day you were born. And some people believe in utero, and some people believe even comes through in past lives. So I'm just giving the subconscious mind the chance to let go of all the. Do you swear on your show?
Oh yeah, you
yeah.
can. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, have at it.
Let go of all the shit, basically,
Yeah.
that's holding you back.
Yeah.
And it's very freeing, and you feel very light afterwards. And I might do that multiple times during, so if we got 3 or 6 sessions going, I might do the emotional detox probably, 2 to 4 times as needed, right?
Mhm.
And then if something's still not moving along as we would like it to, I can do age regression or regress to cause. So take you to the time and place.
Oh wow.
Where you were younger, where you felt an emotion that has caused you to believe certain things about yourself or about the world. And then in that time or place, you might be 3 years old. It may or may not make sense to the situation that you're struggling with. But as a 3-year-old, this emotion is strong, and it might be something your parents said, you heard on the television, something you saw in a magazine or a book, or before you're 7 years old, your subconscious mind has collected all of these emotions, and then it stores them to protect you. And so hypnosis can take you back to that time and place, so you can address your 3-year-old self as your adult self and let them know you're okay, you're safe.
Wow.
You're now, 35 years old, living this great life. Just relax, go have some fun. You're 3, go play with your cars, go play with your dolls.
Right.
I've got this.
Wow.
Right? Or you can tell your 3-year-old self how much they're loved, how much they're worthy, that they're enough and will always be enough. And so I do some of that as well, if necessary.
Right.
It's not always necessary to take you back to relive the moment. So
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, how much recollection do the individuals have on these sessions? Is there no recollection at all? Does it depend and vary on how deep you're going into the hypnosis? Like how does that work?
Yeah, it definitely varies with each
Gotcha.
client. Some people will not remember anything that's been discussed. Some people will remember bits of things, and I don't discuss it with them after the fact. So, or rather in that session, I give them, like, after they've shared things with me, obviously bring them back to their current age, boost their confidence, let them know that they're safe and secure. And then the next time we talk, they'll share some things with me like, oh, it's so weird. The other day, I just needed to call my sister and talk to her about something that we did when we were children. Something fun, not bringing up the past. But, and we just reconnected. So this is a true story of a gentleman client that I had. And then I said to him, well, I'll let you know that during your session, we talked about your sister. And it's just,
Yeah. Oh my God. That's so interesting, because I feel like if I was to do it, I'd want to remember everything, right? So like,
yeah,
because I'd love to make those connections and tie, those pieces together. So do your clients oftentimes, do they want to know what you've discussed, or does it, again, that's probably client to client, or how does that work?
Yes, and not every client gets the conversational hypnosis. Not every client will need the regress to cause, right?
Right.
So, but yes, I will obviously share.
Yeah.
But after that session where we've discussed some things, I want to see how their week progresses.
Yeah, for sure.
Before we go into what, I'm not hiding anything. I'm really not.
Of course.
It's just a good way for them to see things are working, first of all.
Yeah.
And they're moving in the right direction. And then they tell me stories of their week, and I'll be able to say, well, in my notes, this is what we chatted about during your session while you were in trance. And I clear up a myth, right? So I only give positive suggestions. I can't make you say or share anything with me that you wouldn't feel comfortable sharing with me outside of trance, right? So you're not going to give me your PIN number or write a check for $1 million.
Right.
Because your brain will just say, wait a minute, I wouldn't be sharing that with Rachel any other time of the day.
Yeah, the next session with Rachel, she's got a new watch on, right?
Yeah, right.
I'll be keeping time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's you. Yeah. So you wouldn't share anything while you're in trance. You might, even though you might not remember, you're not telling me anything that you wouldn't share with me. Talking face to face right now.
And I have to ask, because I'll be very transparent with you as well. I told my wife that you were coming on, and she was super fascinated about hypnosis. And from reading your background, of course, I saw about how you can also address, weight concerns. And I'm incredibly proud of my wife. She's on her own health journey, and she's doing amazing.
Excellent.
Is there any kind of background you can give us on like how you would address someone that is maybe struggling with their weight, and they just either having a hard time either moving or maybe with their nutrition? How would you kind of help with that?
Yes. So actually I'm in the middle of running a second self-love slim down.
Oh,
which is it's via Zoom, and it's once a week for 4 weeks. And the second week is coming up. But what I do there is, obviously during a hypnosis session, everybody's in trance, and I'm just giving them the tools to appreciate themselves as they are, realizing that, your wife birthed 2 babies, grew them first, and then live them, right? So body appreciation, loving the self, confidence that they can achieve anything they want to achieve. Change comes from love. And so I work on changing the mindset. So when they look in the mirror, they are happy to see themselves rather than, oh, look at this here, and look at my belly, and oh, I wish my thighs were thinner. Whatever the story they've been telling themselves for a long time, change that narrative into, oh, look at me, I look really great in this color. And then once you start loving yourself, you make the choices that change yourself, right? So I'm not a nutritionist. You guys, maybe, I know you're fitness coaches, so maybe you have nutrition plans that you share. I say, eat what you want. Your wife might like this, you might not. Eat what you want, but only eat when you're hungry. And stop eating when you are pleasantly full, not stuffed.
Mm-hmm.
And the hypnosis that I do trains your brain to listen to your stomach, and vice versa.
Right.
So we reconnect the brain to the stomach.
Right.
Basically.
Yeah. You know, mind and gut health are, you know, we've talked about in the past. It's a highway.
Yeah.
That's a complete highway, and a lot of times people don't understand that it's you know, that's the focal point you should be worrying about when you're trying to go on this health and fitness journey, is that mind gut connection is going to get you where you want to go. So that's actually very interesting to hear that you apply that as well.
Exactly. And then along the way, once you start loving yourself, you're going to choose the apple over the chocolate bar.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's just what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's really cool. Now you speak our language, definitely. So one of the things Brian and I love focusing on is limiting beliefs. We talk about it a lot in our speaking engagements. We talk a lot about it inside of our programming. So if an individual here has any kind of limiting beliefs, what are some ways you assist in helping them overcome that? You know, I feel like maybe a lot of what you just spoke about with that self-love, that mentality of self-love could be a good starting point for you there. But are there any other avenues you take when discussing limiting beliefs with an individual?
Yeah, so limiting beliefs, I handle the same way with the emotional detox, as we don't know the cause unless we regress to the cause.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to do that. We use the emotional detox. And then the suggestions. So suggestions is just a hypnotic word for positive affirmations, positive statements that your brain is now going to hear to rewire your neural pathways into thinking differently. So you can remove the limiting belief, no matter when you heard it. Remove it, and then just rewire it with how you want to feel, how you want to think. And so I'm getting these words from my clients, and then I'm putting those words into their script, right?
Wow.
And sometimes, like I said earlier, I have great intuition, and sometimes I'll be creating a script, and then I'll be told by the universe, put this in there. And then I'll put all that in there, and my clients will be like, gosh, I can't believe I really needed to hear that today. How did you know? I don't know.
Yeah, right.
But I definitely, positive suggestions, and always, regardless of my client, confidence boost at the end. Just putting it all in, building their confidence, and changing their mindset.
Yeah, that's really fascinating.
You know, it's wild too about limiting beliefs, because I have a story too about limiting beliefs. Is, for such a long time, I had a limiting belief that I didn't think I was intelligent. And so through journaling, I discovered where that limiting belief came from. And it actually came from like kindergarten and then third grade and sixth grade. And I took time to really unpack it. Now, this is like a year of journaling, but I discovered the limiting beliefs in a couple of months. And so to your point about positive affirmations, on my whiteboard back here, I used to have I am, and then I would put smart, I am brave, I am capable, I am limitless. And when you're talking about law of attraction, it was funny because I had dinner. This is about 2 years ago. And when I started to put those affirmations down, I had dinner with a friend of mine. And I started to go into like limiting beliefs. And he goes, you know, I know what? I want to tell you that I thought you were one of the smartest friends that I had in high school. And it was just kind of like, again, it was I myself put that limiting belief on me, yet other people viewed me as intelligent. And so it's like we put this invisible ceiling on ourselves that we're only capable of so much. And yet, if we can unpack it, and when you do hypnosis, it's like you can finally take that veil off and then really empower someone to start to really create the life that is empowering, which is super fascinating.
Yes. And you figured out that you heard something when you were 3, and then something similar when you were 7.
Yeah.
By journaling. But not many people, I want to say not many, but some people can't remember that far back.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And
they tend to block it out.
Hypnosis, it can be blocked out. But with hypnosis, you don't have to remember it. We can just go in there and remove it.
Right. So. And now you mentioned before, like how far back people may remember things, or even, you know, reference things in their subconscious. Like you said, you know, in utero or even past life.
Yes.
And I love talking about that stuff, spiritual stuff. I'm very much involved with that. And how common is that? How common is that people have things they can, or things that you guys can talk about that involve past life? Is that a rarity that people may think it is?
So I have not met a client that has gone into a past life.
Okay, so rare then. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. However, I have been trained to handle it. I don't say handle it, but I've been trained to address it as they go there, so we can safely bring them, you know, back into their current life. So I have not, but I am fascinated by it, and there's many lives, many masters. That is such a fun, quick read. I'm not a big reader. I read a lot of psychology books and hypnosis books and business books. And so I'm always picking one up and putting it down, picking up another one. So I'm not a start to finish reader. But this book, I pretty much sat there all day and read it. And it is a psychologist who was working with a client, and he'd been working with her for, I think, a year without any changes whatsoever using talk therapy. So then he decides to use hypnosis, and she goes back into multiple past lives. And it's pretty fascinating. Yes. Yeah. And I actually, my friend Lizzie, she's out in California, and she's a hypnotist, and she is being trained in past life and did it on me. Do you want to hear about it?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So it was very bizarre. I went into a past life where I'm dressed in like a brown, just ugly dress, head to toe dress. And I'm standing in front of a German soldier.
Wow.
But I think I'm French. And there's a little girl pulling on my arm, and I can't move. I am frozen, standing in front of this German soldier, and this little girl, she's about 4 or 5 years old. She's not my daughter. And she's pulling me, and I just can't move. And then I literally just like fall to the floor, and I'm above myself. I'm lying on the floor along with a whole row of dead people, also in the brown dresses. So that was pretty cool.
Wow.
Wow.
Blowing my mind on a Thursday night here. That is wild. That's wild.
So I don't know, how to explain that. She was just practicing.
Yeah.
Some practice. Holy cow.
Practice. Yeah.
Now, from that experience, did you have any like other dreams or anything after that occur that almost was like almost kind of brought you
solidifying
back there?
that
Yeah,
vision
yeah.
Not after that experience, but a couple of years ago, I had a dream. I have really like in-depth, crazy, adventurous dreams. Like,
now, did that start when your journey in this field started?
No, I've always had that.
Okay, okay.
Indiana Jones type,
Oh wow.
dream.
That kind of dream. Okay.
Running away from boulders and stuff. And but a couple of years ago, I had a dream where I was only speaking French.
Wow.
And I woke up thinking, oh gosh, that dream was all in French. Weird, right?
That
and
is
then
strange.
past life, I assuming I'm a French person in front of a
Right. Now, do you believe in that? The past, like, past life or reincarnation? Is that something you don't have to answer that if you don't want to, but like having experienced that in your field, is it open your mind more to it?
Yeah, I mean, I think the soul travels from person.
I love
to
that
person.
answer.
And
Yeah.
I do have a lot of deja vu moments. Actually, having said that, I was in Paris in March with my oldest and walking down the street, and I was like, gosh, I feel like I've been here before.
Wow.
And I had
That's
been to
crazy.
Paris when I was 13 or 12 or 15, but probably not walking down that.
Well, you were.
It was a school trip. And
Right.
So I don't know. But yes, I'm a believer.
I love that.
So cool.
I love that.
That's so cool.
That is really cool.
Now, what would you say like some of the biggest advantages of hypnosis?
I just think it is the fastest way to heal. It is really fast. And if you have a challenge, there's a hypnosis for it.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's funny because in a world of
in
instant
my humble
gratification,
opinion,
like we all want things so fast and so soon these days. That's important. You know what I mean? Because if people need solutions and that provides you a fast solution, I mean, a lot of people will say no more. It's not word of my sign. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
It is, and it's life changing. I have not been depressed in 5 years.
That's amazing.
Which is
That is
amazing.
amazing. Yeah.
Right? And then my client with bulimia. I mean, that is just huge.
Yeah, like there's something about that for you, I'd imagine, where it's you're playing a role in changing someone's life for the better. Like that's got to be really rewarding for you.
Yeah, but I always say that I'm just the guide offering words, because you really do have to do the work. You have to want the change. You have to, you are doing the work. So my clients can be like, oh my gosh, you're brilliant. You're amazing. I can't believe I feel this way. I'm like, no, I just gave you the words. You did the work. Honestly, they did.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they work hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, they have to believe it and want to change before they come in, right? So
yes,
like anything in life, if you want it, then the work is no problem, right? And it's part of the process. So that makes sense.
And somebody asked me the other day, can anybody be hypnotized? Because I don't think I can be hypnotized. And I'm like, well, that depends. Are you going to say to me, hypnotize me, but in your head saying I can't be hypnotized? Then I'm not going to be hypnotized.
Right.
But anybody can be hypnotized. And if you think about you're driving down the highway and your favorite song comes on, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, wait, I missed my exit. You are in a form of hypnosis.
In there.
Yeah, right?
Been there many times.
We have all been there.
Yeah.
Or a favorite song takes you back to a time and place. It's a form of hypnosis.
Okay. See, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense. Now, for our listeners now, right? They could be interested in maybe understanding what a session may sound like or feel like, right? Now, is there an example you could provide both Brian and I here and our listeners, right?
I'm
about
excited.
maybe guiding us through a very abbreviated session, if you will.
Yeah, it's very abbreviated.
Yes.
But I will actually do an exercise with you rather than take you into a hypnosis.
We love it. We love it.
Right? Because, and your listeners, they can do this exercise along with you as well. Yeah. And you can take this exercise and use it on your own anytime you need to.
We love that. We love applicable exercises.
Exactly. I think that sounds better to me anyway.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay. So I want you to close your eyes. Okay. Just take some deep breaths in and lengthen your exhale. Let your shoulders drop. Feels really good. Excellent. Now imagine in front of you is a hula hoop. And inside this hula hoop is somebody that you admire. You admire their attributes. Maybe you admire the way they dress. You admire the way they talk to people. Whatever it is you admire about this person, just think of all of those things now. Now I want you to imagine stepping into that hula hoop, stepping into that person. And all of these attributes that you admire about this person, they all become into you now. And just think of all those attributes, and they're coming into your body now. And you feel so good. Because you know you cannot see in someone else what you do not already possess within yourself. And when you are ready, you can open your eyes.
Shit, that was good. That was good. Wow.
Usually I do that with somebody standing so that they actually take a step into the hula hoop. But you can do it, you know, your mind is a powerful thing.
It is.
John, I want you to describe like what you felt as well, because I want to describe how I felt. I felt warmth. I felt calm. I felt all of the attributes that you were talking about that I was focused on the other person when I stepped through the hula hoop, and I was going through those attributes. It was a warmth that came over me. And John, what did you feel? Anything?
Like a confidence, like a determination and a confidence. But in that though, like those that maybe seem like aggressive things to say, like not aggressive, but you know what I mean,
Yeah.
not common, but like while I was feeling that though, like I could feel below like my eyes and like my cheekbones, I felt like the warmth you're talking about. You know what I mean? Like kind of how if we're doing like a deep breathing practice or like a yoga, I can feel that a lot of times, but it was a little different because I had a lot of like mental stimulation that I felt was causing that. So that was really, really interesting.
And that was, I don't know, maybe 90 seconds.
Yeah.
It's great.
Long, and the mind is so powerful.
That was.
So I do that with my clients. I call it a confidence circle. Other hypnotists call it something else. I've changed it up a little bit because I'm just doing it random off the top of my head. But
that was.
You can do that for yourself. You can do it for your wives. You can do it for your kids.
Wow. That's true. That's very true. Yeah.
So it's a really powerful one to have in your toolbox.
Wow,
That
I
was
love
fantastic. Thank you for sharing that with everybody. And listen, if you were driving, hopefully you pulled over for that one because you know,
Yeah.
listen. And if you're too busy while listening to this and you are driving, go back, rewind this, and listen to that and do that practice because that's going to be something that may be applied as part of like what Brian likes to call maintenance, right?
Yeah.
That's something that it doesn't seem like it has to be a one-time thing. If I'm correct, Rachel, correct?
No, it's not a one-time thing. If you're going into a meeting and you need a little extra or going on a date, whatever, you know, you can use it anytime you need it. Yeah.
Love that.
Love that. That's great. Well, Rachel, where can everybody reach you?
So Rachel at hypnosiswithrachel.com is my email. I love to receive emails and feedback. Let me know what you want to, you know, talk about. I love talking about this stuff. I read about it. I learn about it all the time. And I have my website, Hypnosis with Rachel. It's all very simple.
You make it easy for them.
Exactly. Instagram, Hypnosis with _Rachel. My other one was stolen from me.
Oh.
And so that's pretty much it. Oh, YouTube, Hypnosis with Rachel on YouTube. You can listen to mini hypno boosts that I created. They're less than 15 minutes long, and you listen to them for 7 days in a row, and you will feel differently afterwards. The sleep, anxiety and stress, uncertain times, confidence. So go take a listen to a few of those, and you'll get more of a sense of how hypnosis works.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. We met you maybe, I don't know, in the fall time, maybe at our first chamber event we attended, and now we're chamber buddies here, and we're looking forward to getting to know you and everybody in the chamber more. But thank you for reaching out to us and making this thing happen. This is really cool. I think our listeners are going to love hearing all about not only this, but more of what you just described right there, where they can find more of your content and things like that too. So thank you so much for donating some of your time tonight. This was an amazing, amazing conversation.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right.
It's been great to get to know you guys.
Yes, back at you.